and harder. Vince McMahon was the owner of the World Wrestling Federation, one of the biggest organizations back then.
If you can't cut it, get out. What's wrong with that? No different than any other business, by the way. You know, if for some reason you have to rely on drugs, illegal drug usage to make it, boy, you're going to self-destruct.
15 of the 60-plus wrestlers who have died worked at one time or another for McMahon's organization, ranging from talent being developed to bona fide stars on contract. Many of those, as a matter of full disclosure, also wrestled for the now-defunct WCW, then owned by Time Warner, HBO's parent company. The wrestlers Real Sports contacted say both companies fostered an environment where bigger is better and anything goes.
It was more of a Wild West show back in the 80s, no doubt about that. You know, and I think that, you know, in terms of illegal drug usage, in terms of cocaine, there was quite a bit of that went on. Again, I don't throw any stones. I was a part of that whole scene myself.
In retrospect, how much do you attribute that lifestyle in the 80s to the deaths that we're seeing today and have seen since '97?
I think that that lifestyle back in the 80s could partially be attributable to the way people are acting today. Again, most of us, the smart ones, obviously grew up and grew out of those habits. But certainly in all the entertainment business, it was the Wild West. A lot of individuals, unfortunately, passed away as a result of that.
We asked McMahon about a few of the biggest names in the business who worked for his and other organizations.
Do you have a reason why these people would be dying under the age of 45?
Why don't you ask yourself that question? I mean, why are you indicating that's my responsibility? These people are dead because...
I'm asking you if it's in any way, shape, or form falls on your shoulders.
I would accept no responsibility whatsoever for their untimely deaths, none whatsoever. As far as, and you've got that little look on your face like, geez, Vince, how can you possibly say that?
Well, but none whatsoever. I mean, they wrestled for you. They were part of your organization. They worked a couple of hundred nights a year for you. They lived this lifestyle.
Oh my God, you can't believe. Oh, can you see that look? I mean, how can you possibly say that, Vince? How can you look that way and you're giving me the old sympathetic
stuff? No, I'm
not.
I'm honestly curious.
Because I told you, these individuals worked for our organization at one time. They also work for other organizations. I'm not responsible for the way the business was then. I wasn't responsible for the way the business, how they grew up in the business, and whatever personal bad habits they developed. Why am I responsible for that? I gave them the opportunity.
Well, you ran it.
I ran one organization.
You controlled the biggest organization.
I don't think we were the biggest at that time, quite frankly. Okay, we're the sole surviving organization now. But as far as looking back on all of this, these individuals developed a lot of bad habits. That's not my responsibility.
Certainly no one blames McMahon or any other organization for these deaths. Indeed, McMahon says he took steps to curb the abusers he was aware of, either by sending them to rehab or firing them. And what about the next generation of stars, up-and-comers like Teddy Hart?
It's important to look good and try to get the look that the fans are used to seeing, especially if my job is to be the future Rock or something like that.
Hart and his cousin, Harry Smith, are paying their dues on a small wrestling circuit in Western Canada. While both say using steroids or other drugs is not part of their routine, the pressure to look big, to take it to the next level, is huge.
They look amazing. I'd like to look the same as them, so probably if I can't get the results I need doing what I do, then I probably have to take it to the next level. Is about as much as I could say there. You understand what I mean?
Such is the life, one it appears both Ted and Harry know all too well. Almost exactly a year ago, Ted's uncle, Harry's father, Davy Boy Smith, died of an apparent heart attack. He was 39.
Wrestling has a tremendous entrance plan. You come in as, boy, here you are, you rock and roll and everything is wonderful. It's got no exit plan.
And Rowdy Roddy Piper should know. A few months ago, he climbed back into the ring.
What would you have me do at 49 when, like, my pension plan I can't take out till I'm 65? I'm not going to make 65. Let's just face facts, guys.
And while Piper has returned to a game that says it has cleaned up its act, the fast times that claim Spicoli and so many others remain etched in the minds of those who, to some degree, have survived life in pro wrestling.
I hate it. I don't watch myself on TV. I hate that guy. Because I know what that guy's thinking. I know what that guy's capable of doing. I know what he's thought of. And there's nothing nice about that guy at all.
That guy being you.
That guy being Roddy Piper.
Harmon, we've got an awful lot to talk about with this. Let's start with Vince McMahon. He was somewhat dismissive of this as kind of an 80s problem. Yeah. Is this an old problem or an ongoing problem, the sickness?
Oh, I think it's an ongoing problem. I mean, we can talk about the lifestyle of the 80s, but that lifestyle has continued into the 90s and beyond. I mean, witness the fact, Bryant, at least 23 wrestlers alone around the world have died in the last 3 years.
There any kind of testing for steroids, for coke, for uppers, downers of any kind?
Well, there's testing now in the WWE for what Vince says is reasonable cause or just cause. They had testing from 92 to 96. It was effective, but it was banned or dismissed because they said it was cost prohibitive and it really wasn't doing. It was more of a public relations issue than anything else. Vince actually, and I will read this because I think it's important, I said, oh, well, how do you know that this just cause or reasonable cause works? He says, well, there are no syringes left anywhere. There's no vials left anywhere. I don't see any roid rage. I don't see any reason in the world to indicate to me that we have a wholesale problem. Yeah. We have others that have told us, though, that it is a problem.
I won't slap it out of your hands.
I appreciate that.
Del Wilkes, the gentleman you interviewed, the Patriot.
Yes.
He got out, clearly. Why is he the exception rather than the norm? What did he do that others don't or can't?
Well, I think it's because there isn't a real light at the end of this tunnel. There isn't any real place for these guys to go back into society. I mean, Del's case, and I think this is terrific, but he had to go through a program. I mean, he went to prison for 9 months on prescription drug fraud. He was arrested more than 20 times. He got out. He cleaned himself up. He's now in Columbia, South Carolina, living a very productive life. But I think unless some agency comes in, some governmental agency or somebody from above, because it's not going to happen from within, to try to understand what's going on in this sport and to clean it up and to investigate what's going on, I think these problems are going to continue.
We'll be talking about the sickness years from now.
I think we will.
All right. Armin, thanks very much.